Dean Wade is becoming the Cavs' defensive problem solver, the standout defensive star nobody saw coming. We just witnessed one of the most important defensive stretches of Dean Wade's career. Not because he dropped 40, not because he hit a game winner, not because he became the face of the Cleveland Cavaliers overnight, but because in a playoff run filled with stars, pressure, blown leads, momentum swings, social media jokes, and high-stakes matchups, Dean Wade became the guy Cleveland trusted to step into the fire. The guy they looked at and said, go guard him, go guard the wing, go switch onto the guard, go bump the scorer off his spot, go take away the easy drive. Go protect Donovan Mitchell from burning all his energy. Go help James Harden survive switches. Go stand next to Jarrett Allen and make the paint feel crowded. And that's why everybody is starting to talk about Dean Wade. Because sometimes the most dangerous player in a playoff series is not the loudest player. It's the quiet defender who ruins your favorite star's rhythm. Welcome back to Sports Stars Recap, where basketball stories meet legacy, pressure, and playoff truth. And today, we're breaking down why Dean Wade has become the Cleveland Cavaliers' standout defensive star, why his size matters, why his defensive discipline is helping the Cavs survive, and why his name is suddenly showing up in conversations that used to belong only to Cleveland stars. Because in the playoffs, defense does not always trend first, but when it wins possessions, everybody notices. Dean Wade is becoming the Cavs' defensive problem solver. Dean Wade is not built like a role player, he's built like a playoff tool. Dean Wade does not walk into the game looking like a highlight machine. He's not crossing people over. He's not talking after every stop. He's not throwing down windmill dunks and screaming into the camera. But look closer. At 6'9" and 228 pounds, Dean Wade has the body type every playoff team searches for when the game slows down. He is big enough to battle forwards, long enough to bother wings, mobile enough to slide with guards, and disciplined enough not to gamble himself out of position. That matters. Because in the regular season, you can hide weaknesses. In the playoffs, every weakness gets circled, every matchup gets hunted, every defender gets tested. And when the Cavaliers found themselves facing elite shot creators, tough wings, and guards who could force switches, Wade became more than just another body in the rotation. He became a defensive tool, a matchup piece. A player the Cavs could plug into different situations when the game demanded size, patience, and toughness. His box score may not jump off the screen. During the 2025-26 season, Wade averaged around 8 points, 4.2 rebounds, and 1.5 assists. Those numbers do not scream superstar. But that's the point. Dean Wade's value is not always in the box score. It's in the possession that dies before it becomes a highlight. It's in the drive that gets cut off. It's in the star player who has to pass instead of shoot. It's in the switch that does not turn into an easy bucket. It's in the closeout that forces one extra dribble. And in playoff basketball, one extra dribble can change everything. Why Cleveland needs Dean Wade more than people realize. The Cavaliers are built around star power. Donovan Mitchell brings explosive scoring. James Harden brings control, playmaking, and foul pressure. Jarrett Allen brings size, rebounding, rim protection, and physical presence. Evan Mobley brings length, shot blocking, and defensive upside. But every team with stars needs someone willing to do the uncomfortable work. That's Dean Wade. He does not need 15 shots to stay locked in. He does not need the offense to run through him. He does not need the crowd chanting his name to impact the game. He can stand in the corner, space the floor, wait for his opportunity, and then spend the next defensive possession wrestling with a player who makes more money, gets more headlines, and has a bigger reputation. That's playoff value. Because Donovan Mitchell cannot be asked to carry the scoring load and chase top scorers every possession. James Harden cannot run the offense, create shots, control tempo, draw fouls, and then get isolated defensively over and over without help. Jarrett Allen cannot protect the rim if the point of attack is getting cracked open every time. That's where Wade becomes important. He connects the defense. He is not the anchor like Allen. He is not the main star like Mitchell. He is not the offensive brain like Harden. But he helps all of them do their jobs better. When Wade guards a dangerous wing, Donovan Mitchell can save energy for late-game shot creation. When Wade takes a difficult forward matchup, Jarrett Allen can stay closer to the rim instead of getting dragged too far away. When Wade absorbs switches, James Harden does not have to live on an island every single possession. And when Cleveland needs size without sacrificing spacing, Wade gives them a bridge between offense and defense. He may not be the name on the poster, but he can be the reason the poster never happens. Question 1. Who became the Cavaliers' quiet defender that started ruining star players' rhythm? A. Donovan Mitchell. B. Dean Wade. C. Jarrett Allen. D. Evan Mobley. Lock it in, the clock is moving. Correct answer is B. Dean Wade. Question 2. What makes Dean Wade valuable even when his box score does not look big? A. His flashy dunks. B. His deep three-point shooting only. C. His defense, switches, closeouts, and discipline. D. His trash talk. Take your best guess, you've got 10 seconds. Correct answer, C. His defense, switches, closeouts, and discipline. His defense, switches, closeouts, and discipline. Why the Cavs trust him against top NBA stars? Here's what makes Dean Wade interesting. The Cavs are not choosing him because he is flashy. They are choosing him because he is dependable. In the playoffs, coaches want defenders who understand 3 things: where the ball is, where the help is, and where the danger is coming from. Wade is not the type of defender who tries to steal every pass and ends up giving away a backdoor cut. He is not constantly reaching. He is not jumping at every pump fake. He is not playing defense like he is trying to win a highlight contest. He plays defense like he is trying to win the possession. That is a major difference. When Wade guards top wings, his size helps him absorb contact. A lot of scorers want to bump a defender, create separation, and rise into their shot, but Wade's frame makes that harder. He does not get moved as easily. He can stay vertical. He can contest without fouling. He can make a scorer feel him without giving up a cheap whistle. Against guards, the challenge is different. Guards want speed. They want space. They want to turn the corner and force the defense to collapse. Wade's job is not always to shut them down completely. Sometimes his job is to delay them, to make them take one more dribble, to make them pick the ball up sooner, to angle them toward help, to send them into the chest of Jarrett Allen. That is smart defense. Not every stop looks like a block. Sometimes a stop looks like a star player catching the ball 2 feet farther out than he wanted. Sometimes it looks like a contested step back instead of a clean drive. Sometimes it looks like a rushed pass. Sometimes it looks like a shot clock violation because the first option disappeared. That's the type of defense Wade brings. Subtle, physical, annoying, and in a playoff series, annoying defenders become serious problems. Dean Wade's signature defensive moves. Now let's break down Dean Wade's defensive toolbox. Because every great defender has moves. They may not look like offensive signature moves, but they matter just as much. Move number 1, the angle cutoff. This is when Wade does not chase the ball handler straight backward. Instead, he turns his body at an angle and guides the offensive player toward help. It looks simple, but it takes discipline. If he opens his hips too early, the guard blows past him. If he plays too square, the scorer gets to choose the direction, but Wade uses his length to shade the ball handler, forcing them toward the side Cleveland wants. That helps Jarrett Allen. That helps Evan Mobley. That helps the entire defense stay organized. Move number 2, the late hand contest. Some defenders jump too early. They bite on the fake. They fly past the shooter. Then the scorer steps around them and gets a clean look. Wade often waits. He stays down. He keeps his chest in front. Then when the shooter rises, Wade uses his size to contest late. That late hand matters because it does not give the shooter a clean window. It also helps him avoid unnecessary fouls. In playoff basketball, staying on the floor is a skill. Move number 3, the body bump without the whistle. This is one of the most underrated parts of defense. A defender has to be physical, but not reckless. Wade can absorb contact and deliver subtle body pressure without making it obvious. That pressure can knock a scorer off rhythm. It can turn a smooth drive into a tough, off-balance finish. It can make a player settle for a fadeaway instead of getting downhill. That is playoff defense. Move number 4, the switch and survive. This might be the biggest reason Cleveland trusts him. When teams hunt matchups, they want to force a big defender onto a guard, then attack. But Wade is not a traditional slow-footed big. He can switch, slide, contain, and survive long enough for the help to reset. He does not have to win every switch perfectly. He just has to prevent disaster. And sometimes in the playoffs, preventing disaster is winning. Move number 5, the corner closeout. This is where Wade's hustle shows up. When the ball swings to the corner, Wade has to cover ground fast but under control. A bad closeout gives up a blow-by. A lazy closeout gives up a 3. Wade's best closeouts are balanced, hands high, feet under him, no wild jumping. Force the shooter to make a decision. That's how you turn a clean shot into hesitation. And hesitation is a defender's best friend. How Wade helps Donovan Mitchell. Donovan Mitchell is one of the Cavs' engines. When Cleveland needs a bucket, Mitchell is usually the guy who can create one. But the deeper you go into the playoffs, the more every possession takes energy. Every drive, every shot, every screen, every defensive assignment. If Mitchell has to spend the entire game fighting through screens and guarding elite scorers, his legs can disappear late. That's where Dean Wade helps. Wade takes pressure off Mitchell by accepting tough defensive matchups. He lets Mitchell stay more available as a scorer. He gives Cleveland more flexibility so Mitchell does not have to guard the biggest wing or chase the hottest matchup every possession. That is important because Mitchell's value is not just in scoring early, it's in having enough energy left to attack in the fourth quarter. When Wade does his job defensively, Mitchell gets to be more dangerous offensively. That is how role players affect stars. They do not always make the star look better with assists. Sometimes they make the star look better by taking away the exhausting work. How Wade helps James Harden. James Harden changes Cleveland's offense because he brings patience. He can slow the game down. He can create free throws. He can feed bigs. He can find shooters. He can control tempo. But defensively, playoff teams are always looking for matchups to attack. That is no secret. If opponents can force Harden into repeated defensive actions, they can drain his legs and attack Cleveland's structure. That's why Wade matters. Wade gives Cleveland a bigger, more flexible defender who can help reduce how often Harden gets put in bad situations. If the Cavs can pre-switch, recover, or use Wade as the main body on a dangerous scorer, Harden can conserve more energy for offense. And for a player like Harden, energy is everything. His handle, his timing, his step back, his passing, his foul pressure. All of that depends on control. Wade's defense helps Harden stay closer to his role. Not perfect, not hidden completely, but protected enough for Cleveland's offense to still function. And in the playoffs, that difference can decide a series. How Wade helps Jarrett Allen. Jarrett Allen is at his best when he can protect the paint. That means contesting shots at the rim, cleaning the glass, finishing plays, being the last line of defense. But if Cleveland's perimeter defense breaks down too easily, Allen gets put in impossible situations. 2-on-1, lob threat behind him, shooter in the corner, guard coming downhill. That is a nightmare for any center. Wade helps by slowing the first action. If Wade can contain the ball for even 1 extra second, Allen can stay positioned. If Wade can force a driver toward the right angle, Allen can contest without fouling. If Wade can switch onto a wing and survive, Allen does not have to leave the paint too early. That is how defense works. It is connected. One player's discipline makes another player's job easier. Wade's defensive positioning helps Allen remain the anchor instead of turning him into a firefighter. And when Allen gets to be an anchor, Cleveland's defense looks much stronger. The viral slip moment, sweat, social media, and playoff comedy. Now, we cannot talk about Dean Wade's playoff run without talking about the moment that had social media laughing. The slip, the sweat, the James Harden floor moment. During the playoff chaos, Wade slipped in the same area where Harden had left sweat on the floor, and the internet did what the internet does. It turned a random basketball moment into comedy. Fans joked, clips spread, people replayed it like it was a crime scene investigation. And suddenly, Dean Wade was trending not just for defense, but for one of the funniest little playoff moments of the run. But here's the thing, that moment also showed something about Wade. He got up. kept playing, kept doing the dirty work, because that is who he is. A role player does not get to stop and make everything about himself. A defender does not get to stay embarrassed. A playoff player has to move on to the next possession, and that is exactly what Wade does. He is not playing for memes. He is playing for minutes. He is playing for trust. He is playing for the right to be on the court when the game gets tight. And sometimes, the internet laughs first, then realizes the player is actually important. Why Dean Wade is becoming a playoff focal point. Dean Wade's rise in this playoff run is not about becoming the Cavaliers' #1 option. It is about becoming one of their most necessary answers. When Cleveland needs size, he matters. When Cleveland needs a wing defender, he matters. When Cleveland needs someone who can guard without demanding touches, he matters. When Cleveland needs to protect Mitchell, Harden, and Allen within the team structure, he matters. That is why the Cavs keep turning to him. Because playoff basketball is not just about talent, it is about trust. Can you be in the right spot? Can you survive the switch? Can you make the extra rotation? Can you contest without fouling? Can you rebound in traffic? Can you hit the open three when the defense forgets about you? Can you do all of that while the stars get the attention? Dean Wade is answering yes. Not loudly, not perfectly, but consistently enough to become part of the story, and that is what makes him dangerous. Because the moment a defense-first role player becomes trusted in the playoffs, he becomes more than a role player. He becomes a weapon. Question 3. Which Cavs big man benefits when Dean Wade slows down the first drive and helps keep him near the paint? A. Bam Adebayo. B. Nikola Jokic. C. Jarrett Allen. D. Anthony Davis. Trust your instincts, the clock's ticking. The correct answer, B. Jarrett Allen. Question 4. Which Dean Wade defensive move means guiding the ball handler toward help instead of getting blown by? A. The Euro step. B. The alley-oop finish. C. The step-back jumper. D. The angle cut off. One play, one answer. 10 seconds. The answer is D. The angle cut off. Dean Wade may never be the loudest name on the Cavaliers. He may never be the player casual fans tune in to see first. But in this playoff run, he has become one of Cleveland's most important defensive pieces. The kind of player who guards stars, absorbs contact, closes space, protects teammates, and makes the game harder without needing the spotlight. And when a player like that starts trending, that means people are finally seeing the work. So the next time you watch the Cavaliers, do not just follow the ball. Watch Dean Wade before the shot. Watch how he angles the drive. Watch how he contests. Watch how he communicates. Watch how he helps Mitchell, Harden, and Allen stay in their roles. Because sometimes the story of a playoff run is not only written by the superstar who scores, sometimes it is written by the defender who makes sure the other superstar doesn't. If you enjoyed this breakdown, tap into the next video on the screen because we're breaking down another playoff player who is changing the game without needing the loudest spotlight. This is Sports Stars Recap, and we'll see you in the next one.